Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael, in today for Fran Stoddard. Lake Champlain is the state's largest body of water, of course, which we share with the state of New York and the province of Quebec. Even if you don't live on the lake, a majority of us live in the lake basin, which means that everything that runs off the land ends up in the lake. So to learn more about Lake Champlain, we've partnered with UVM's Lake Champlain Sea Grant Institute to create a series of educational videos. One of the videos tracks the lake's history, including its formation.
Lake Champlain is a key feature of the Vermont, New York, and Quebec landscape. The lake has a rich natural history and has served as a hub for recreation and tourism. If you look at an aerial shot of the Lake Champlain Basin, you can see the long and narrow shape. How is Lake Champlain formed?
In addition to the long and narrow shape of Lake Champlain, you'll notice the Adirondack and Green Mountains, which form the watershed boundary on the eastern and western side of the lake. These mountain ranges were formed from tectonic plate movements that happened 500 million years ago for the Green Mountains and 100 million years ago for the Adirondack Mountains.
The shape of the lake is derived from glacial forces that began to carve out the landscape during the Pleistocene age, roughly 2.5 million years ago. The rocks and landforms of the Lake Champlain Valley are a geologist's dream. What are some of the geologic highlights of the Lake Champlain Basin?
One of the top places I'd recommend checking out to view this region's unique and rich geologic history is Fisk Quarry. Fisk Quarry is located in Isle of Mont, Vermont, and is a great place to see one of the world's oldest coral reefs. It's remnants of the ancient Iapetus Ocean, which would have covered this region 500 million years ago. Another site that I'd recommend is the Champlain Thrust. This site is located off of Lone Rock Point in Burlington and is viewed best by boat. This site shows an exposed thrust fault which runs 200 miles from southern Quebec all the way down to the Catskills region of New York. What makes this site so unique is that you're able to view a low-angle exposed thrust fault. This thrust fault actually shows where you have older rock, which is pressed on top of younger rock. This is a really unique geologic feature.
In this case, rocks of the Cambrian period, about 500 million years ago, have been pushed up and onto rocks of the later, younger Ordovician period, about 450 million years ago.
Lastly, I'd recommend stopping by the University of Vermont Perkins Museum of Geology. There you can view the skeleton of a 10,000-year-old beluga whale. This whale was exhumed from Charlotte, Vermont, and is a remnant of the Champlain Sea.
Prior to the lake we see today, this area was also home to two other water bodies. The first was Lake Vermont roughly 20,000 years ago, the first freshwater body to form as the glaciers retreated north. The immense weight of the glacier's thick ice, however, depressed the land to such a degree that it allowed seawater to flow in through the St. Lawrence and Richelieu River, which slowly created the saltwater Champlain Sea around 13,000 years ago. As the glaciers again retreated, the land rebounded. This caused the water flow to reverse back to what they do today, flowing north, gradually shifting Lake Champlain back to the freshwater lake by about 9,000 years ago. Today, Lake Champlain is 120 miles long and 12 miles wide at its widest point. It is 400 feet deep at its deepest point, which bears significant ecological importance. This great depth allows for cold, oxygen-rich water to settle at the bottom of the lake throughout the summer months and provides great habitat for a variety of aquatic organisms.
When we think of Lake Champlain, we tend to think of it as one ecosystem, but the lake is actually divided into 5 distinct regions, and those regions have unique physical, chemical, and biological properties. The segments of the lake include the Main Lake, the South Lake, the Northeast Arm, Mallett's Bay, and Missisquoi Bay.
The Main Lake is the largest, deepest, and coldest portion of the lake. Nutrient concentrations are relatively low in this segment as well. The Main Lake thermally stratifies throughout the spring and summer months and is home to many cold and warm water fish species, most notably lake trout. This section provides high-quality drinking water and is home to the greatest number of shipwreck sites on Lake Champlain. The Northeast Arm and Missisquoi Bay are shallower by comparison to the Main Lake. These sections struggle with warm weather cyanobacteria blooms due in part to elevated phosphorus concentrations. The northeast arm has a strong fishery and is popular among anglers. Additionally, this region is home to several waterfront Vermont state parks, including Kilcare and Burton Island. The South Lake segment is shallow and narrow. Phosphorus concentrations fluctuate, and much of the phosphorus enters the lake through tributaries. The South Lake has a great warm water fishery, particularly bass and northern pike. Mallett's Bay has the lowest phosphorus concentrations in the lake and is known for having overall clean water. The bay is home to the sandbar wetlands that recently earned a Class 1 wetland certification, the highest level of protection.
The Lake Champlain Basin is 19 times larger than the lake itself. This means that the land-to-water ratio is 19:1. This is actually 3 to 4 times greater than that of the Great Lakes. This truly amplifies the impact of land use management and water quality.
This high ratio land draining into a relatively small volume of water means that pollution in the runoff is concentrated by the time it reaches the lake from different regions of the watershed. Today, the water quality challenges we face are from non-point source pollutants. Non-point source pollution is spread out, not linked to one specific place, and includes sources such as residential and commercial areas, urban settings, farmlands, parking lots, roads, and from stream bank erosion. The lake is also a vital resource for the communities and economies of the Lake Champlain Basin, providing ample sites for recreation on the water, as well as a niche for the Vermont tourism industry.
The basin is fortunate to have many public sites where individuals can access and enjoy the lake, from state parks and boat launches to local marinas and community sailing centers.
For more information on the Sea Grant Institute and to see other videos in that series, go to the website go.uvm.edu/lakevideos. The saying goes that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, don't tell that to an expert in canine behavior at the University of Vermont. The university's Animal Science Department offers a class on understanding and speaking dog, which Across the Fence's Rebecca Gollin reported on a few years ago.
Many college students will tell you that when learning a new language, it can be very helpful to practice with a native speaker.
Hi. Oops. What's your name, buddy?
That's just what this class at UVM is doing. Except that in this classroom, the native speakers have 4 legs and are covered in fur.
You can't just expect a dog to sit when you tell them to sit. It's like speaking in a foreign language.
The class is called Understanding and Speaking Dog. Students are learning how to communicate with dogs in order to train them.
Most people have opinions, thoughts, philosophies about dog training, and what I teach is science. It's fun.
Good girl.
So remember, don't say the word.
Jamie Shaw is a longtime dog trainer and adjunct instructor in the Department of Animal Science. She's teaching her students how to teach a dog to sit.
It's not necessarily they understand the word, like sit means to actually sit down. It's that they understand that's what you want from that sound. So it's more like they understand that you want that rather than, oh, that's what that means.
What we cover in the course is much of it is the exact same thing you would learn in a basic level psychology course. And it's about reinforcement and, literally how does training work? How can you work with the brain to accept and process information? What's the best way to do that?
Shaw says that the key to success is to shape the dog's behavior in a series of small steps, with plenty of rewards along the way. She recommends coming up with goals and developing a step-by-step training plan. The way that plan is implemented is called operant conditioning.
Operant conditioning is a process where you choose a behavior that you would like a subject to know. So it could be with your roommate that you want to teach your roommate to pick up her dirty laundry instead of leaving it all over the house. Or it could be you want to teach your dog to sit when you ask it to sit instead of having it jump on visitors when they come to the house.
You can't just take a dog and put it in the position that you want it to be in. Like if you're teaching a sit, you can't just take it and physically put it into a sit and do that a bunch of times and expect it to learn it as well. So what shaping is successive approximation. You're taking little baby steps towards the behavior. So every time it like puts its butt down a little bit more, you reward that. And you use luring. You have like a treat and you put it into the position that you want by making it want to be in that position with the treat in your hand.
What you need to do to get a dog that doesn't know how to sit or stand or whatever to do it.
Jamie especially makes it look so easy. Her dogs are so well trained, so some of the ones that she brings in, no problem, will just sit on command, they'll just drop, lay down on the floor, and she makes it look so easy. And as we're learning tonight, it's a lot more difficult than it is and it looks.
Shaw brings dogs to class throughout the semester in order to demonstrate certain habits and techniques. Most of the canine guest lecturers here this day are untrained rescue dogs from Random Rescue in Williamstown.
At first, I didn't realize how many steps you really have to do it. If you want them to do a harder step, you have to break it up into really, really small steps. If it's a complicated trick, how small the steps are in order to reach it, and how if they're not getting it, you have to change the whole plan, or if they are getting it, you don't want to do too much. You might get excited that they're getting it, you want to keep going, but you have to stop and just let them take a break and pick it up again, and just the repetition of it, doing the same trick over and over and over again until they master it.
Good boy. And I back up when I train this because it makes the dogs run a little bit faster to you, makes it more fun.
Teaching dogs some new tricks and learning some themselves, these UVM students are on their way to being fluent in the language of dog. In Burlington, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
And that's our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.